Think you have what it takes to get as ripped as David Corenswet did for Superman? Once you find out how intense his workouts were, you might just decide to stick with your usual routine.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
How long did Corenswet have to get ready for filming? Paolo Mussidi, the actor's personal trainer, told British GQ that he and Corenswet started meeting 5 months prior to the start date. Did this end up being enough time? Obviously, yes, but the journey wasn't easy. To get Corenswet into super shape, Mussidi prescribed incline dumbbell presses, bench presses, leg raises, and incline running, among other high-intensity techniques. Mussidi said, "If you're trying to gain size, your focus should be on big compound moves. You need to progressively overload the muscles, which means lifting heavier and heavier weights each time. And my obsession is getting a full range of motion, which involves really controlling the negatives." Corenswet showed an impressive work ethic while preparing for his role. The actor trained by himself for 2 hours each day while also fitting in 3 to 4 weekly sessions with Mussidi, and that was on top of a loaded filming schedule. According to Mussidi, Corenswet was determined to look the part. He told British GQ, "He's 6'4", but we wanted to put more bulk on him. He probably went from 200 pounds to 240 pounds, but some of that mass will shed as he continues to tone up." Corenswet's determination more than likely came from the fact that playing the Man of Steel is a dream come true for him. While responding to comments about physical similarities between himself and Henry Cavill in 2019, Corenswet told Entertainment Weekly, "My pie-in-the-sky ambition is definitely to play Superman." Mussidi believes that it's a part the actor was meant to play. The trainer said, "He is Superman. James Gunn is amazing at casting people, and this guy was born to be Superman. Ask any cast or crew member. David is the nicest guy, and I think the perfect Superman." As anyone who is trying to pack on muscle will tell you, what you're eating is just as important as what you're lifting. Being that Mussidi is of course very well aware of this, he made sure Corenswet was getting everything he needed in terms of food. He told British GQ, "You need to be in a caloric surplus to provide the building blocks of muscle." However, sometimes he was shocked to find out that Corenswet had been straying outside of the diet he advised. Mussidi revealed, "He was on around 6,000 calories a day, and his diet was strict, but not as strict as I would have liked. We'd speak remotely, and I'd ask him about his diet, and he'd be eating cereal. He'd ask, 'What's wrong with cereal?' But that's why he's the perfect Superman. He has a realistic expectation of himself in the role." If 6,000 calories sounds like a lot, you might be surprised to learn that some superhero actors have even more than that during their training period. Mussidi's client, Fula Borg, was consuming a whopping 7,000 calories a day while getting in shape for the Suicide Squad, which was due to his fast metabolism.
This sounds horrible.
Despite his willingness to go hard during his months of training, Corenswet wasn't able to give himself over to his new workout program entirely. He still had other obligations to fulfill, and that meant taking time to train even when he and Mussidi were many miles apart. As such, Corenswet resorted to working out over FaceTime whenever he wasn't in LA to do it in person. Mussidi's flexibility shows that he is focused on putting the needs of his client first. And while that includes working around filming and travel, it also means building sessions that work towards specific goals. He told British GQ, "We focus on moments like presses, pull-ups, pull-downs, rows, all the big ones. We switched a little bit after a while, but kept that focus on progressive overload to encourage muscle growth, keeping track of reps and weight and trying to advance each week. It's a simple approach, but it's tried and tested." According to the veteran trainer, there are a lot of fads that don't always get results. He said, "A lot of trainers online are looking for the next best thing, but it's not about showy moves. It's about mastering the exercise and focusing on things like full range of motion, mastering the negative, stretching, and trying to progress in weight and reps." As for how the exercises were split up, Mussidi told British GQ that Corenswet's schedule consisted of a push day, a pull day, and then a leg day. According to NBC's Better, Mussidi's strategy of mixing up the routine comes with its benefits. Fitness instructor and food coach Liz Barnett told the outlet, "The body works in different energy systems, so it's important to vary strength and cardio, mobility, and flexibility training. Many workouts focus on one thing more than another, so it's good to change it up." There are, however, some downsides to this approach. Workout coach Dan Trink believes that constantly switching up exercise classes can sometimes have a negative impact on a client's momentum. If you're in it strictly to have fun or as a form of socializing, that's great, have a ball. If you're looking to maximize your fitness, however, you can fall into the trap of mixing it up at the expense of actually making progress, getting better, and reaching your goals. In the end, it all comes down to what works best for you and what you're hoping to achieve in the long run.
Just doing my workout. Tuesday's arms and back.
Just as no Superman movie is the same, every actor who plays the Man of Steel takes a different route in terms of getting into shape for the coveted part. Corenswet and Henry Cavill may look similar, but their approaches to tackling Superman's larger-than-life muscles were quite different. While Mesiti told British GQ that Corenswet was naturally lean before they started their work, Cavill walked into the role with an even leaner figure due to a previous project, weighing in at 170 pounds, 30 pounds shy of Corenswet's starting weight. Corenswet and Mesiti hit the ground running with intense workouts, while Cavill and his trainer, Mark Twight, decided to slowly ramp things up over the course of their first 2 months together. Twight told Muscle and Fitness, "Stable fitness requires a wide, solid foundation. The deeper that foundation, the more stable that condition will be, and the easier it is to maintain." As for their schedule, Cavill and Twight did their best to meet 5 days a week. They squeezed in 2 training sessions on these days, which is very different from Corenswet's 3 to 4 sessions per week with Mesiti. Twight also demanded that Cavill get 10 hours of sleep so that his muscles had adequate time to recover. One thing the actors had in common, though, was that they both focused heavily on squats. No matter who ends up playing Superman, the guy's gotta have legs that look strong enough to propel him up into the stratosphere at a moment's notice, right? Before Corenswet or Cavill, there was one actor who perfectly embodied the role of Superman and became synonymous with the big screen version of this character. Christopher Reeve first flew onto the big screen as Clark Kent in 1978's Superman, ushering in a new type of superhero movie.
Easy, miss. I've got you.
You've got me! Who's got you?
He would continue to play the role over the course of almost 10 years, starring in Superman 2, Superman 3, and Superman 4 Quest for Peace, which was released in 1987. In a 1998 interview with Ability magazine, Reeve explained that he had to gain 30 pounds for the role, just 10 pounds shy of Corenswet's goal. And, like the new Superman, the changes made to Reeve's diet and exercise were immediate, including a new weightlifting routine. Like Paolo Mesiti, Reeve's trainer, David Prowse, the same David Prowse who played Darth Vader in the original Star Wars trilogy, also focused on simple exercises that were staples of many workouts. In many ways, Corenswet's approach to getting into Superman shape was more similar to Reeve's than it was to Cavill's, which may come as a shock, considering the time gap and overall difference in standards for men's physiques when it comes to playing caped crime fighters. Think Paolo Mesiti's expertise was only utilized for Corenswet's benefit? Think again. Turns out he was tasked with training other cast members too, including Maria Gabriela de Faria, Sara Sampaio, and Nicholas Hoult. De Faria plays shapeshifter Angela Spica, also known as the Engineer. Sampaio portrays Eve Tessmacher. And of course, no big Superman story is complete without Lex Luthor, played by Hoult, who has already proven that he can play a bald guy with aplomb.
What a lovely day!
De Faria posted a video to Instagram showing herself and Sampaio working out with a caption that reads, "FaceTime session with Paolo Mesiti on a Saturday because, as Paolo would say, nobody cares about your sad stories, do 5 more." Mesiti told British GQ that the cast of Superman sometimes joins in with Corenswet's specifically tailored routines. The trainer also does solo workouts with cast members, depending on what the schedule looks like. He explained, "There are times where David is really busy, so I train Nick and others without him, and other times when it's just been Nick and I together. There's no specific plan, but they're all welcome to join in with whatever they're doing, whoever is there." Motivation can be a key to starting and completing a workout, and having fun can be the jump starter that keeps that motivation going. Mesiti told British GQ that there is plenty of room for competition when the Superman cast gets together, and that includes when Corenswet and Hoult battle it out in the gym. He said, "It's really fun. It's a very easy environment to work in." Put all of his strategies together and out comes a winning workout recipe, which is evident in the results. In an Instagram post, the trainer shared an image of Corenswet flexing his massive arm muscles that got the internet buzzing. That same post also includes the reveal of Corenswet's muscles in the famous supersuit, with a caption that reads, "David Corenswet worked his ass off. I can't wait to share more of the training we did to prepare to play this iconic character. Stay tuned for more."